Hello and welcome back to my Tarot Corner. So this reading, today's readings will be around subscribers' questions that I received in mail, and if any of you want me to do a reading on any subject, no matter what, just send me an email. If it's feasible and I can do that, I will. If not, I will tell you why not. But in any case, an email is the best way to contact me, because sometimes I see requests on the comments, but if I don't have anything to write with me at the time, then it slips my mind. So it's the best way. So the first question that I received is about Harry's book. And the angle around Harry's book is, how will it inflect, or what will its influence will be around on King Charles? I already did quite a few readings about Harry's book, and in my opinion, he is adding a new chapter to add all of his grievances since the Queen died, and not trying to correct things in order to make it feel to make it look any less damaging than it is. And today I saw on Markle News 1 on Instagram that he's going to claim that William had a relationship with Rose Hanbury. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. Maybe I will check it as well. But my first question will be, what is going to be the influence on King Charles? And this is not a yes or no question, so I'm going to take a few cards and maybe the underlying message as well, and we'll see where it takes us. This is the EDGAR ALLAN Tarot, which is eerie in a way, and it's about a book, or at least a writer. So let's start by collecting the cards, and before I start, please take a few moments to read my full disclaimer in the description box. This is a tarot reading. It is vibrational. It is open to interpretation. It exists as assumptions and speculation, and as such may or may not be true. So please do your own research and decide for yourselves. So the first question is going to be, does Harry book influence on King Charles going to be? And I'm going to take 3 cards and then the underlying message. So the first card that I'm getting here is this one, and that is the 8 of Swords. Now, this is quite a peculiar 8 of Swords, because 8 of Swords is usually a card of someone who is standing and surrounded by swords that are restricting the person's ability to move. Usually it's about blockages and shackles, but mostly an emotional blockage. Now here it's even worse, because here we see a person that is lying in a coffin with 8 swords on him, above him, which reminds us very much of the 9 of Swords card, which is about worry. So I believe that King Charles will feel as if a sword is being stuck in his back, and it will make him feel very, very sick, ill, emotionally. That will be an emotional, really an emotional stab in the back. He will even feel that he would rather die than see his son bad-mouthing him in the way that he's going to. So this is not a very good influence. Now, the psychological interpretation of this card is about the need to act out of cold consideration and not an emotional one, despite the fact that the effect is going to be very emotional. So King Charles will be very affected emotionally by this book, but he needs to remember that he needs to act out of cold consideration, not out of revenge or out of anything else. And this is why I believe that the question of the titles of the Sussex children should be settled before the book comes out, before the Netflix documentary comes out, so there won't be any linkage between the two. So it won't look as if he is taking revenge on Harry because of what Harry wrote, but that he's doing things out of cold consideration and knowing that there is no reason for them to be either prince and princess or even HRH. So this is something that I believe King Charles needs to settle now and not wait for the book and the series to come out. And this card is only telling him even more so. Act out of cold consideration, be rational. This is a card of someone who feels that he's betrayed, someone who feels in a way even stuck and unable to act because he is emotionally so blocked. This is how bad it will be. So it will be very hard for him. He will feel desperate. This will cause depression, and he needs very good advisors that will help him to see reality and to act out of logic and cold consideration and not out of emotional outrage. Okay, the second card is the 10 of Swords reversed. Okay, so if we started with the 8 of Swords and we said that the 8 of Swords feels like the 9 of Swords, then the 10 of Swords is even more difficult, because in the usual 10 of Swords we see a person that has gone through a storm, but now he's able to see the sunlight coming. So this is a person that is recuperating in the 10 of Swords as it is. But this is the 10 of Swords in reverse, and in this card we even don't see the person because he's down here in the chimney. So this is not a person that can see the sunlight. And this is a card of someone who is conducting out of feeling danger. This is someone who feels destruction. This is another card of someone who feels ill. This is a card of disease, but not a physical disease, but an emotional disease. So this is someone who finds it hard to see the sunlight. And this is another card that is telling us that King Charles is going to take it very, very hard. It's going to even cause him some kind of destruction, and he will be very pessimistic as in regard to any ability to heal the rift with his son. And this is even about problems that are coming from the past to haunt him. And this is going to be because Harry is going to delve into a lot of things from Charles's past, and this is why those things are coming to haunt him. So this is another card that shows us that it's going to be very difficult for King Charles. And the last card is the Lovers in reverse. And the Lovers card, as I tell you many times, it's not exactly about a lovey-dovey couple. This is about being very total, cutting out whatever is not helping you in your life's pathway in order to move forward. This is something that Charles will have to do. He will have to cut Harry completely out. This means taking away his titles, and not only the Duke titles, but also the Prince title. This is what I believe. This is about being very total and looking at what is redundant for him to move forward and cutting it out completely. Now, all of these cards are very dark, very eerie, and this is in reverse, and it shows that he will be indecisive. He will hesitate in doing that. He will try to prolong the decision. This is all because of his severe hurt and his severe mental incapacity because of what Harry is going to say about him in the book. So he will find it very hard to act logically. We see that in the Ten of Swords reverse, we see that in the Eight of Swords, and in the Lovers reverse. Because in the Lovers, when it's in the upright, it's a card that is calling him to be very logical and to cut Harry out. But because it's in the reverse, it shows difficulty to move on. It will be very hard for King Charles to move forward from this book, and it will be very hard for him to make a cold decision, and it will be hard for him to listen to his own intuition, because his own intuition is telling him that he should do that. But in a way, some people might come out and say, no, you shouldn't. This is something that he needs to listen to his own intuition and not act out of feeling desperate and hurt and destructive, but act out of cold consideration. Okay, the underlying message here is the Four of Wands. And the Four of Wands is actually a good card, because the Four of Wands is a card that speaks about going out on this voyage to victory quest, a voyage to realize his potential as a king, but to enjoy the road, not thinking about the results. So we are talking about a victory quest, but not looking at the results, looking at the road to go there. And this is a card that is an action card, and this is a card that is telling King Charles that no matter what the results are going to be, he needs to enjoy his tenure as a king, enjoy the possibility to change things that he wanted. Now, usually it's a card of marriage and happy family. Here we see someone who is actually dead with four wands around him, and then the angels are up here. So what can we make out from this card, from the intuitional side of it? And the intuition says that this goes very well with this with the Eight of Swords, but this is a brighter color deck, because there is fire here, there is fire energy. So this card is telling me that despite the fact that he's going to feel so ill, and so it will be very difficult for him to get up and to start enjoying the road, it is possible for him. If he looks at the fire energy, if he listens to his guides, then he will be able to do that. So it's not going to be very easy for King Charles, but it is possible for him. But if he listens to the right advice and if he acts out of cold consideration. Okay, the Oracle cards is from the Living Light cards. This is actually a Japanese deck, if I'm not mistaken, Japanese or Chinese, I'm not sure. And I had a feeling that he's going to need some light. So let's see what kind of advice the Oracle has for King Charles. And the card that I'm getting here is the body, the root. So let me look at the book. Okay, so the body and the root is the true foundation of King Charles, where he drives his power from. Even if he feels a little bit that it's maybe he doesn't fit to be the king that he is, or maybe he feels a little bit distraught. This card is telling him that he is firm in his conviction and not to mind reaching deeply for more resources when he feels that he's out of his wits. So this is an advice card telling King Charles to look within into his power of source of power, source of courage, and to look for his safe place. And this is what will help him to operate and to be able to deal with this very difficult repercussions of Harry's book. So this is it for this reading. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave me a comment, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.